There once was a voyage that the Buddha and his disciples took. After a tiring day of trekking, they made the decision to pause and take a nap next to a lake. The youngest and angstiest of Buddha's disciples went to the lake and brought in some water, as instructed by the master. However, he noticed some oxen crossing the lake, which caused the water to become murky. When he got there, "I can't bring this dirty water to Buddha," the disciple said to himself. Psychiatrist and philosopher Viktor Frankl once stated, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." End quote. In the monk's instance, there was little he could do about the lake's muddiest conditions, or the Buddha's persistent requests for water. There was nothing he could do to alter the situation. The impatient monk's only option was to adjust his perspective on these circumstances. Buddha meant for him to learn that all he needed to do was wait patiently for nature to work things out, as the dirty water will finally clean up on its own. The monk would not have suffered from his rage and discontent if he had been patient. This video shares the many virtues of patience, as well as the reasons it is a virtue. Patience and impatience. The problem with impatience is the pain it brings to the impatient person, and, possibly, to those around him. As the Buddha's story demonstrated, a person who is impatient is unsatisfied with the situation as it is. This discontent can sometimes be so intense that it results in an eruption of rage. One illustration of this is the phenomenon known as road rage, which results from traffic congestion. Impatience is useless in addition to being unpleasant. The inability to accept life as it unfolds naturally makes us impatient. We want the universe to submit to our desires. We demand things right away. We desire rapid change in the situation. However, in actuality, we have little control over outside events, as much as we would like it to. The opposite virtue, patience, is predicated on accepting things as they are. As Oxford Languages defines it, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. End quote. Patience is a virtue that may be applied in daily life. It helps people make better judgments, interact with people more effectively, and avoid being unhappy. Virtue 1. The natural harmony. Most of the time, rushing things doesn't really help in terms of achieving our goals. Moreover, trying to force the process may even be detrimental. Nature has its own plan and moves at its own speed. It operates optimally without our interference. Philosopher Michel de Montaigne stated, and I quote, "The general order of things that takes care of fleas and moles also takes care of men. If they will have the same patience that fleas and moles have to leave it to itself." End quote. According to Taoist philosophy, we have two choices in life. We can swim against the flow and invest a lot of energy for little reward, or we can follow the natural flow and get by more easily. However, how can we follow the natural path? A necessary condition is patience. When we have patience, we can let nature take care of things for us, because we're willing to adjust our expectations to match its pace. Creativity is an illustration of how to use patience to enter the flow naturally. Since most of our creative impulses come and go on their own, we are unable to force ourselves to be creative. Generally speaking, writer's block happens after we have forced our creativity for a while, and things get worse the more we attempt. However, if we give up and stop trying, most of the time our creativity comes back on its own. Hence, Charles Bukowski's poem "So You Want to Be a Writer" states, "If you have to wait for it to roar out of you, then wait patiently. If it never does roar out of you, do something else." Virtue 2. Reasoned choices. Making an important decision after giving it some thought usually works out better than hesitating and second-guessing yourself. The distinction between doubt and overanalyzing oneself and thoughtfully weighing our alternatives is that the former is iterative and typically results in no meaningful resolve. However, thorough examination entails weighing several choices and investigating potential outcomes, usually with the aid of logic and reason. But to do so, mental clarity is necessary. When our emotions get the better of us, we often make irrational choices because we act on impulses sparked by things like fear or rage. For example, we stand a good risk of regretting our decision to break up a friendship in the midst of a furious argument. Our lives are improved when we exercise patience before making a decision, since it enables us to make decisions with clarity and serenity. More specifically, in this situation, patience is a tool of self-control used to allow our feelings to pass and prevent us from acting on them. Common sense maxims like to count to 10 or to sleep on it before acting are useful, uncomplicated strategies for incorporating patience into daily living. Virtue 3. Tranquilness. People frequently become frustrated when they are waiting for a train and learn that it is delayed. As a result, they fidget on the platform and are frequently clearly irritated when the train takes longer than anticipated to arrive. Soon after, there's another notification saying there would be an even longer wait for the train. Some commuters become enraged and begin swearing as a result. However, those who are patient just acknowledge the delay and endure as little pain as possible as they wait for the train. As was already mentioned, impatience stems from discontent with the way things are right now, but patience enables us to accept unpleasant situations and keep our composure in spite of them. Why would we allow ourselves to be influenced by uncontrollable factors like dirty water, delayed trains, or challenging individuals? By exercising patience, these kinds of interactions won't upset our composure. Virtue 4. Tenacity and triumph. Long-term outcomes can derive from perseverance. However, persistence requires patience. One must give up on the demand for speedy outcomes, which is regrettably what many appear to be pursuing these days. People frequently make the initial decision to do something but never finish it, like deciding to gain muscle or reduce weight. They start working toward their objective, but soon become demotivated and give up, usually being overly preoccupied with the outcome rather than the process itself causes this demotivation. When the anticipated result takes longer to materialize than anticipated, one grows impatient and dissatisfied with the situation. These repercussions will eventually result from the fact that many people tend to give up on their endeavors if results are still insufficient. Writer and philosopher Elbert Hubbard wrote, "How many a man has thrown up his hands at a time when a little more effort, a little more patience would have achieved success." End quote. Lack of results won't be a demotivating problem if one works toward a goal and is patient with the process, at least for a reasonable amount of time. Once more, patience gives us the capacity to accept or put up with delay. An other tale with a farmer attempting to cultivate a bamboo tree illustrates how perseverance and patience helped him reach his objective. This specific bamboo tree requires 5 years from seed to even begin to grow. Thus the farmer had to provide water and care for the plants in the years prior to seeing any fruit. It seems like his labors were in vain throughout those years, and the bamboo tree would never begin to develop. However, The farmer persisted in his daily efforts, maintained his patience, and had faith in the process. The bamboo tree abruptly grew after 5 years of regular watering and care for the seeds. The farmer had been wise to wait. The farmer's predicament is comparable to other instances in contemporary life, where patience enables us to accomplish long-term objectives. For instance, it often takes decades to get meaningful returns from compound interest when investing in the stock market. Also, on average, new businesses take about 3 to 4 years to become profitable, but it generally takes years to become profitable. We can get through these times without being paid for our labors because we have patience. It is undoubtedly difficult to summon such patience. The process is harsh, but the rewards could be sweet. Virtue 5. The Forbearance. Other people's will and actions are not under our control. Therefore, those close to us might act in ways that we find objectionable or choose not to comply with our requests. However, a lot of people assume that other people will act in a certain way, and they feel disappointed when they don't. Couples fight frequently when one partner does something or doesn't do something that goes against what the other partner wants and expects. Even though we have no control over the situation, we become frustrated because we want people to act and think differently, rather than the way they already do. Marcus Aurelius, the ancient Stoic ruler, understood that we have no control over who enters our life. Whether we like it or not, we will encounter resentful, dishonest, impolite, and malignant people. We are powerless to change it. We are able to alter our perspective on things, though. We have two options. We can let these people to annoy us, or we can accept that they exist, that running across them occasionally is inevitable, and that there's no need to worry about things over which we have no control. When we are patient with others, we not only lessen their ability to disturb our peace of mind, but we also acknowledge their humanity and their imperfections. In his book The Hidden Power of Kindness, missionary Lawrence Lovisick stated, "The practice of patience toward one another, the overlooking of one another's defects, and the bearing of one another's burdens is the most elementary condition of all human and social activity in the family, in the professions, and in society." End quote. Being patient makes people more tolerant of one another, enables us to listen before we speak, fosters empathy and forgiveness, and lowers our propensity to act or react in ways we later come to regret. It's a behavior that improves how we view the outside world and ourselves in general. Intolerance, ignorance, weakness, and pain are all implied by impatience. Tolerance, discernment, fortitude, and composure are qualities of patience. That being said, patience is a virtue. Thank you for watching.